Hello everyone and welcome back to Top Grade. My name is Spencer Miller and today I'm so excited to share with you a selection of brand new Canadian young adult books for the spring 2023 season. I've got so many great books to talk about today, so let's get started. Visions of the Crow from Highwater Press is written by Wanda John Cahiwin and illustrated by Nicole Marie Burton. This is the first volume in a new series of graphic novels that explore Indigenous experiences. Damon, who is a Cree Métis teenager living in Vancouver, just wants to make it through his senior year of high school unbothered, but when he starts being followed around by a crow and even has a vision in the middle of a busy street, Damon has to accept that there's something bigger going on. His journey to get to the bottom of his experiences forces him to reconnect and reconcile with his mother, who is dealing with an alcohol addiction. As Damon starts to make sense of his family history and his family's past, he also is able to make more sense of what's going on in his present. This story, based on the experiences of the author, examines how Indigenous cultural connection can be a pathway towards healing from the lasting impacts of residential schools and intergenerational trauma. As I Enfold You in Petals is from Highwater Press. It is written by Richard Van Camp, illustrated by Scott B. Henderson, with coloring from Donovan Yasiak. This is the second volume in the Spirit of Denende series. If you recognize volume 1, I talked about it in a previous video. I loved it so much, and the second book is just as good. Richard Van Camp really is a fantastic storyteller, and he does such a good job of exploring these complicated themes around redemption and reclamation at a level that young adults can really start to understand. Each of these stories is set in a fictionalized version of the author's hometown, and while some of the characters in Volume 2 are familiar from Volume 1, the story is very separate, and which is really nice so that you can just jump right into Volume 2 if readers are just pulling the book off the shelf. They're not going to be lost in the story. In this volume, a young Indigenous man named Curtis returns home to Fort Smith 6 weeks sober and determined to stay that way. Curtis finds a lot of peace and solace in reconnecting with some of his grandfather's cultural practices, and Curtis's journey actually inspires another member of the community, Benny, who is a notorious bootlegger and has a long history of causing trouble in this community, to decide to make a change and to make amends for some of his actions, and he finds this desire to leave a positive, lasting legacy. And so this story is really one about healing and about a community coming back together. I love the comic book style artwork that we have here, and of course the way that Richard Van Camp weaves a story together, introducing us to new characters and a new story, but still making thematic references back to the first book. It's so good, and I can't wait to see where the rest of this series goes. You wouldn't know it just by looking at the covers of these books, but there's something very special about these books from Orca Book Publishers. These are high-low books, and if you haven't heard that term before, what that means is that these books were specifically designed for struggling and reluctant readers. These books have shorter chapters, simplified sentence structure, and really fast-moving plots that help get readers through to the end of a story. They are also books that cover really high-interest topics for teens and include really relatable characters. Everything you need to help a struggling reader get through to the end of a book, which is such an important feeling for a reader to be able to say, I finished reading a book, and these books are going to help make that happen. I have 4 new high-low books that I want to highlight for you today. Star Eaters by Brooke Carter is a science fiction story about a teen space pilot who is sent to steal the energy resources from distant planets that explores themes of corporate greed and environmental sustainability. Countdown by M.J. McIsaac is a teen thriller told almost entirely through a series of text messages about exposing secrets that will leave readers thinking about choices and consequences. Wingman by Gene Mills is a hockey story where one teen has to find help for his teammate who is a victim of abuse. The story explores themes of bullying, friendship, and how the pressure to succeed can affect teens' mental health. Baby Drake Queen by C.A. Tanaka is about a transgender teen who enters a Drake contest in hopes of supporting his mother who is struggling financially. This important representation contributes to the small but growing number of books with trans main characters. High-low books are such a good resource, and I've seen them in action. I recently talked to a high school kid who told me that this book was one of the only books he had ever read, and that felt like such a big victory. So I really recommend checking out these titles and bringing them into your classroom. When It All Syncs Up from Anik Press is written by Maya Ameya. There is a lot of buzz around this upcoming YA novel, a debut novel from author Maya Ameya, and I can see what the buzz is all about. I'm also very excited about it. The story is about a black teen dancer named Aisha who dreams of landing a spot at a prestigious ballet academy, but she is frustrated when she is denied another lead role at her dance school because she doesn't look the part. Aisha decides to really take charge of her life to shake things up, make a change. She switches schools and begins to start dancing on her own terms. There is a lot to like about this one, including a strong and positive representation of a black teen dancer in an arts community. It also includes a very swoony romance, a strong focus on friendship, and doesn't shy away from covering difficult topics like racism and alcohol dependency and disordered eating and mental health. This book feels like an immersive reading experience. The story really comes alive. I am very much excited about it. I hope that you will add it on your list of books to look forward to in June. And those are all of our books for today. On behalf of the Association of Canadian Publishers, thank you so much for watching. We hope that you will follow along and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more great Canadian book content. And we also want to give a big thank you to Ontario Creates for their continued support of the Top Grade program. Visit the new and improved topgradebooks.ca to watch more videos, to see and download book lists, to explore books by grade level, check out blog posts with reading and classroom activities, and more.